Significantly increase your chance of market success by understanding your customer requirements better than they do. There's plenty of research that shows that most product and service failures are caused by a bad set of requirements. Part of the reason is that no matter what industry you're in, when developing or improving these products and services, requirements come from two or more primary sources: the internal project team's expertise and experience, and the external voice of the customer and market. Even with both these inputs, project teams fail to hit the bullseye for reasons that are completely preventable. In the next 5 minutes, we'll introduce the VOC cage model to clearly illustrate why many project teams miss key requirements, what to include and what to exclude in a thorough set of requirements, and how to dramatically improve your product or service's likelihood of success. The model begins with this yellow region that represents how a typical project team understands the customer requirements and defines success before doing any real customer research. The second region in blue represents what customers will tell you about their needs during interviews and effective customer research. Notice the overlap and difference between the two areas. The third region, our target region, represents a bullseye, what sells. A comprehensive and accurate set of customer needs and innovations that will win in a competitive marketplace. Now, before we take a deep dive on this model and explain each of the areas, I'd like to illustrate there are many scenarios project teams experience relative to this model. Here's a few of those scenarios, including the worst and the best polar extremes. Scenario A represents where everyone is on a different page. Actually, you might say they're all reading different books, they're so far apart. If we could use that metaphor, case B represents reading from the same book but different pages. Case C represents the same book, same pages, but a slightly different perspective of what they're reading. Case D represents the same book, same pages, and same understanding. All the areas converging on the ultimate goal, which is the bullseye set of requirements. A question you might ask yourself is which of these scenarios best represents your project teams? Now let's take a little deeper dive and look at the most common scenario, case C. As you clearly notice, there are several distinct and unique areas labeled A through G in and outside the bullseye. These sections beg at least two questions. The first question is, what do A through G represent? Well, here's the quick answer, starting with the elements outside the bullseye that you don't want. Let's start with area D, which is pretty straightforward. It represents what the project team simply got wrong. Too much of one thing, not enough of the other, wrong feature or feature set, and so on. We all know this happens. There are many things that cause it, and most of them are preventable. Area B might be a little surprising to some, but it represents what the customers get wrong. Asking for more than they're willing to pay for. Asking for solutions that don't really address their real needs, and so on. We must recognize these in advance. Area F represents requirements the project team and customer got wrong. Now let's define elements that we do want. Area C in the cage bullseye represents the customer insights the project team will discover during effective customer research. Area A in the center represents requirements that everyone agrees on. The team knew these requirements before customer research, the customer verified them during research, and they're what sell. Area G represents the givens. These are the needs or requirements customers won't tell you about because they go without saying. They're expected, they're assumed. For example, when making reservations at a hotel, no one will ask for a window in the room. But if it's missing, customers will likely be a little claustrophobic and never come back to that hotel. And finally, Area E represents the excitement quality. These are the gold nuggets, the innovations, the wows customers won't tell you about because they don't know about them yet. These innovations will differentiate your offering, give you a competitive edge, increase your market share, and provide higher profit margins. There are several great systematic innovation tools that help generate these market differentiators. So the point of this VOC cage model is to begin to clearly illustrate the risk in a weak set of customer requirements. Many project teams will assume they already know the customers, remember the yellow region? Far better than that assumption is effective customer research. And even better than that, especially in a competitive landscape, is combining modern VOC efforts with modern systematic innovation tools to get as close as possible to the bullseye shown in the model. To put it very simply, we need to proactively make sure we have all the C's, all the A's, all the G's, and a few strategic E's, and none of the B, F, or D's. By the way, the top 3 causes of product introduction failures are: number 1, missing features or qualities that differentiate your offering from the competition, the E area, excitement quality, innovations. Number 2 is a lack of understanding of your customer needs, missing, underserving, or overserving the C elements, those new customer insights, as well as potentially including unnecessary D elements, the voice of the engineer, or voice of executive, or voice of the ego. Number 3 is being too customer driven. The potential here is to miss or mess up the G area, the givens, as well as the E area, the excitement qualities, not to mention the potential wrongful inclusion of areas B and F. The second and most important question for this model is, how do we make sure we get the areas we want and eliminate the ones we don't want? Answers to that question and many more are explained in our other video webcasts, which can be found at www.kanomodel.com. Click these hyperlinks for more on VOC best practices, systematic innovation introduction videos. Also feel free to click here and send us any question or request. Thanks for viewing and have a great day.